seeing movement, and then it stops. What do you do when things are starting to move in your 3D reality? Now, movement is described in manifestation circles like you can see things happening in your 3D. So even though we're meant to be living in our minds and ignoring the 3D or just accepting the 3D or just letting it be as it is and living in our mind, well, we want movement out here. We want things to happen out here. That's the whole point, isn't it? The problem is that a lot of you look for the movement, and by movement I mean things happening that show you that what you're doing in your mind is working. So what would movement look like? Movement could be getting a text from your specific person when you've been in no contact and then you don't hear anything. Or it could be they like one of your stories on social media or something. Or you hear something about your SP's broken up with a third party, if you're manifesting the third party to go away and you and your SP together. Or it could be you've been offered a job when you're looking for a job, but it's just not the job you want, but you've been offered a job after looking for a long time. It could be you've been given some money, but it's not the amount of money you need just yet. It's things that are leading to and showing you that your inner world is working and the outer world is showing it, right? The problem is with movement is that when it happens and then it stops, that can trigger you guys. And that's a big issue that happens a lot. And if you go to my Q&A forum, either in my free group, Subconscious Loz in Facebook, or my paid group, The Squad, if you go to the Q&A forum, you'll notice a lot of people triggered by the fact that they got to movement and then it stopped. And then they're like, now what? Now, the problem with that is, if you think about it, the way they got the movement was to live in their mind and reflect out their new thinking. And they weren't concerned with 3D, they were living in their mind. And suddenly they got movement. Suddenly they got an ounce of something showing them their manifestation is working. And then what did they do? They stopped being in their mind and started getting fixated on the 3D reality, which is what you shouldn't be doing. Your fixation on the 3D can actually stop the movement. Why would it stop the movement? Because you're meant to be living in here in your mind and not reading into what's happening. So reading into what's happening could be you're doing it in a positive way and then it turns negative. So I'll give you an example of you reading movement incorrectly and then giving it bad meaning, or actually stopping it, because you've got to understand you're the one who stops it. So if we understand we're the only cause, causation, not blame, not fault, causation, then you've caused the movement, but you've also caused the stopping. So what we have to uncover here is, how did it stop? Why did it stop? Well, because of you. So what were you doing or thinking that stopped it? Well, one of the things that you can do is stop focusing on the story in your mind that you've been focusing on that caused the movement. You get so enthralled by the 3D having movement. You get so caught up in it. You get so happy about it. You get so excited by it. You kind of stop doing what you were doing that caused that good movement. Some of you can fall prey to that and you don't realize you've done it. Then it stops and then you freak out thinking, oh my God, it stopped. Why? Why? Because you actually weren't living in your mind anymore. You allowed this out here to stop the process you were going through, which was really working. Or you didn't get thrown by the 3D out here. You didn't focus on it. You were living in your mind, but then the lack of more movement then throws you, triggers you. So I'll address this in part 3 of Don't Be a Trigger Bitch. We've already got part 1 out, which is about what triggers are and how you get triggered and how you cause them. Part 2 is all about, okay, we understand that now and we really accept that, and I really want you to accept that, but some of you might need some emotional regulation because you're so triggered right now. You need some things to calm you down so you can then get rid of that trigger and manifest. And part 3 will be all about now getting the reality you want. And part of that could be about getting movement, but then getting triggered by the lack of movement. Or you get a little bit and then it stops. Or you get a little bit and it slows down. Now, what did I just say? The second example of someone who kind of messes this up and doesn't know why it stopped is they weren't focused on the 3D and they were still living in their mind, still doing all the techniques or all the new thinking or being in the new I am, which is how they got the new movement. And then they're in their new I am. Oh, they got movement. Oh, it's all working. It's working. He's come back. He's spoken to me. We've been in no contact. Now we're speaking again. Great, great, great. Oh, he loves me. We're so happy, blissfully together. I'm the wanted one. I'm the chosen one. We are in a beautiful, happy relationship. Any more texts? Any more? No. Okay. We are so blissfully, happily together. He loves talking to me. He loves sending me texts. He loves sending me texts. He really loves talking to me. He talks to me every day. He texts me every day. I get morning texts and evening texts and any more. I'm willing him to text me right now. He's texting me right now. What am I doing? I've gone from being just the new I am, who's loved and adored and in the new relationship, to focusing on the how, to focusing on what is happening or not happening. And I've changed what I was thinking. So I've gone from in this relaxed, knowing state to kind of freaking out. And so my new thinking has changed from this new I am that's caused the good reality to a freaking out or worrying about the how or the movement I am. Can you hear it? That person allowed the 3D to change their thinking, or they didn't even change what they were affirming about or anything, or the living in the end they were doing, but they still got thrown. Then they started to have a bad story about what they saw or the lack of seeing stuff. As soon as you go from it's really good movement, it's a good story, everything's working, to where is it, it's not working, why is it stopped? You've gone from the good story to the bad story. You've gone from the new I am to the old I am who doesn't get movement. You've gone from it's working to this doesn't work. It isn't working. There's no movement anymore. It's stopped. So guess what? That's your awareness of self. You've been in the awareness of self that they love you, they're committed to you, they're talking to you, they come back, they talk to you. Great. You stay in that awareness of self a little bit, then you get thrown by the 3D, you don't get another text, you don't get another call, and you start to think, oh, hang on, is this still working? What have I done wrong? Blah, blah, blah. Maybe this doesn't work. Maybe they're not going to call me again. Maybe they're not going to text me again. Are you in the awareness of self that caused the calls and texts? No. You're now in a different awareness. An awareness that it's not here. An awareness that it's not working. An awareness that it stopped. So that's what you'll manifest. If you're manifesting from your awareness and you originally had an awareness that caused the new reality, now you're in a different reality where it's not working and it's stopped. Because that's what you're aware of. So even in the question that this girl wrote in the squad, can't you see her awareness has gone from movement to no movement? I'm aware there's movement. Now I'm aware it's stopped. That's my new awareness. And I can only manifest from my awareness, so it's stopped and it will remain stopped. Listen to the question again and read in her question what her real awareness is. Seeing movement, and then it stops. So that's your awareness. It's stopped. It's stopping. It's gone. It's not working. What do I do? Help. What's this awareness? I'm loved. It's working. They're here. What's this awareness? It isn't working. It's stopped. Help me. Even your questions, guys, you are focused on the wrong thing. You are in the awareness that it isn't working. You're in the awareness that it's not here yet. You're in the awareness that it's taking too much time. You're in the awareness that it's stopped. You're in the awareness of where is it? You're in the awareness of what do I do? What am I doing wrong? You're in the awareness of I've tried everything, now what? That's your new awareness. So that's what's manifesting. If you're thinking you've done something wrong, you've done something wrong. If you're thinking it isn't here, it won't be here. If you're thinking it's taking time, it'll take longer. If you're thinking it's stopped, it's stopped. It's that literal. So stop thinking that.